So it is really great to be here. Energy is feeling good. I really love days where I can speak outside because sometimes nature would like cooperate, like sometimes a bird will want to chime in or a squirrel will come up on stage. I've once had an instance where, there's like a bird or a squirrel just came up for a little bit. It's got a little stage time and just took off, right? And I think that one of the things that I always focus on is living in harmony with nature. If you would observe nature just in its natural state, there isn't much planning happening, there's only being. And yet everything perfectly organizes itself with just that being. So sometimes we feel like, oh, I didn't plan for anything. I didn't plan this, so it may go bad or just like that. But sometimes when you tap into being, you can tap into the grand plan that's already there. So what I ask everyone is to reflect on themselves and how many times do they spend the day thinking about the future, planning for the future, versus being in the moment of now and experiencing any future that needs to happen. See what I mean? Nature cooperates. If you reflect on the future is nothing but a different instance of the now. And so therefore, if we want to understand what is our future going to look like, it's probably going to look a lot like our beingness right now, because it is our beingness that echoes out over and over and over again. We can wake up and we can, watch the news and decide how we're going to be based on the news, or we can create the news. The way we create the news is by deciding to feel good now, to feel in alignment now. And that right there is what sets the pavement for the day. This morning, I went in, every day I go in my car, I do a meditation in front of hen house. I don't know why, I just like hen house. So I sit it, because it's probably a grocery store, I just go to the grocery store afterwards. So I do a 12 to 15 minute meditation where I just focus on my breath. And I've noticed that in that meditative state, I'll feel a flicker of joy. And feeling that flicker of joy, by focusing on it and relaxing into the joy, we can start to carry that energy throughout the whole day. A lot of people that meet me, they'll say that I'm always happy. Why are you always happy? Happiness is not something that's based on external circumstances. Happiness can be a decision. Joy can be a decision of a state of being that we can tap into. And so what I ask everyone always is decide the mood you're going to have at the beginning of the day for your day. Now, don't get me wrong, circumstances can happen to affect that mood, to impact us, things of that nature. And it's okay that, if we have a letdown or something happens, but don't let it become our dwelling where we dwell on that frequency. I'm asking us to take back our frequency and take back our ownership of our lives by deciding that nothing outside of me dictates what happens inside of me. There's something I'm writing right now. It's a little book I'm writing. I'll share it with you guys. I'm calling it Godfidence. And Godfidence is a source of confidence that's untethered from anything in physical reality, but it's only tethered to the spiritual reality within you. And walking with Godfidence, you'll become the unmoved mover, is what I like to call it. So there were some of my tidbits there. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tap in and drop in and channel onto. And all questions are perfectly welcome. Any question you have coming up for you. And what I like to think when I channel onto is I surrender, I be. And any question that comes up for you, you're more than welcome to ask. It's all, the flavor of it is life purpose. Because we all have a life purpose here on this planet. And sometimes we feel like we're on track with it. Sometimes we feel like we're off track with it. But we always have guides and helps and angels around us to help us with that. All of you have inner guides within you as well. And me and Anto is acting as a permission slip to help you connect with your own inner guides as well. All right. So I'm going to tap in. Feel free to join me. What I do is I go into a meditative state, and I think of a joyful thought. Today I got to feed one of the donkeys an apple. And as I was feeding him the apple, his lips started to rub my fingers. It was a little sticky. It was wet lips. It was pretty interesting. But that was my first time ever touching a donkey. So feel free to join me in touching this donkey. We may begin now. What we share with you is the image of a blue sky filled with many birds and doves. And these birds are all flying in formation towards a brighter light. They are flying towards the sun because where they were before was getting a bit cold. And now it's time to go south where the heat and comfortability is. As a nation, a civilization in your ascension, humanity is flying south towards the warm weather, a more promised tomorrow. A promise of peace, of harmony, of beingness, and knowing of the beingness that you all are being. We are here as one of the birds flying alongside of you, and we're helping guide you alongside many other birds because we've flown this before. We've flown this route before. Now, in this flight towards a sunnier south, some of you may experience a tornado. Some of you may experience rain and hail and all kinds of flunky weather. We urge to share with you that this uncomfortable weather has a unique purpose in strengthening your wings. Some of you have asked for stronger wings to navigate your life, and now you are experiencing storms and maybe tornadoes to help with that strengthening process. Because if you can experience this storm and fly through it strongly, you can weather many other storms as well as you fly south towards a sunnier tomorrow. Thank you for being the flock of birds and pigeons and doves and geese. Thanks for joining us in this flight. Thanks for participating in this flight. Your love is welcome. Your love is appreciated. And we share how we may be of assistance to you today with your questions. Who would like to go first? There's always someone that wants to go first, but they don't want to be seen as the first person to go. We ask you to speak up, express yourself.
Can you explain more about how you're flying with us to the Ascension Sunrise? How do you support us?
I'm doing so right now. I support you in helping uncover more of your wing and help you remove the dust and maybe baggage that some of you have on your wings. For this quote unquote baggage served you at a time. Now, if you want to fly higher and fly faster and maybe have more joy in your flight, it's time to start removing the baggage that's weighing some of you down, that you picked up along the way.
And when you say we, is it we, you as a collective, or you and other entities?
We are all a collective. The other entities are just you helping you from a different perspective of you. You are using your perspective from quote unquote other entities to help you empower yourself to know that your perspective is perfectly valid because you are one of the other entities to another entity that may use your perspective to help them in their flight. The same way a lot of you receive guidance from others, it is a part of your process to receive this guidance. Create your flavor that you may want to guide others if you so choose so. It's almost like going to a grocery store and shopping for ingredients, baking a cake, making dinner, and then showing others how to make similar recipes. But if someone wants to make a chocolate cake, that's perfectly fine. They may use the same ingredients you use to make your vanilla cake, but they want a little flavor of chocolate. But they still need the dough, and they still need the pan, and they still need the necessary ingredients to make the cake. However, they may add chocolate to theirs, and you can add vanilla to yours, and someone can come up with a completely new flavor. Let's just call it, I don't know, yellow berry. Someone can make a yellow berry cake, and someone can make a blueberry cake. This is the ascension process. You're ascending and creating your rocket as you ascend. One might even say creating the rocket is ascending.
Why do we always feel we have to take this flight when we're always just right here, right now?
If there's a feeling that you have to take the flight, then the have to is a part of the flight. It can be a flight of knowing or discovering that there's nothing we're obligated to do. Simply enjoying this process is still the flight. No matter what, you're always going to be on this flight because this flight is the process of life. You just have the freedom of choosing where would you like to guide this process. You're always guiding the process. You choose in what direction you would like to grow.
Has your race ever? You said before when you were here that you're not physical completely, correct?
We are physical.
Oh.
We are just more aware of when we go non-physical and more conscious. Just like how you go non-physical when you are sleeping, we do it intentionally. You do it intentionally as well, just from a broader perspective. From your perspective, it's seen as rest. From our perspective, it's seen as just enjoying the house in a different room.
So has your physical race ever visited Earth on a craft?
It's a multifaceted question. My physical race has not. However, there are multiple races on my planet that have. Anunnaki came up. Our planet is kind of like a shopping mall with many different stores. Many different beings like to visit. Your planet's kind of like that, except for there's more secrets involved. It's not as public yet. But you guys in your highest lines of lineage are hybridized from other races. One of the original human lines are what you call Sasquatch or Bigfoot. They are interdimensional now, so they can travel other densities at will. Very similar to how America was, from people's perspective, colonized by, was it Europeans from the Native Americans? All of you are hybridized beings that quote unquote colonized Earth way up in your lineage. There are some of you that are aware of this. However, many of you are not. Many of you move into a house and you call it home. 20 years before you, someone else called it home. Whose home is it? Is it the person that was there first? Or is the person that's currently inhabiting it? That's up for you to decide. You may find benefit in not labeling solely the physical reality as home. It can be a home, but your home is in the eternal moment of now. Your home is all that is, everywhere. So home is a vibration that you can experience. Someone disagrees with this?
The dog doesn't get an opinion.
Does anyone have a deep question they would like to ask?
Yes.
Please speak up.
My channel's open when I'm sleeping, and I often have different entities, both chaotic and divine, enter my mind, and I would like to better control who is allowed inside to channel with me and not be an open passageway. How do we move towards channeling those that will be beneficial to us?
The question you're asking is a little counterintuitive because there's an assumption that these not pleasurable entities are not you. You're seeking a path of integration. There's you would like to accept and be with, and then there's you that you don't find pleasant. When you love all of you, all of it would be pleasant. The chaotic beings that you're labeling are mirrors of the chaotic aspects of you that you're not looking at. When you integrate, accept, acknowledge the quote unquote chaotic sides of you, the beings will stop. because feeling out of control manifests everything that reflects that you're out of control. True control is knowing that you're always in control. It's just a dance with your higher mind and your physical mind wanting to grab the steering wheel. Physical mind was not designed to hold the steering wheel. Physical mind was designed to enjoy the ride in the back seat as higher mind guided the steering wheel. Now, while you're in the back seat, you may not be able to lean over and see out the front window as well. So there's a degree of trust that can be there, that higher mind will take you and is taking you where you need to go. Even if the road is bumpy. So what we say is love it all. Love the chaotic parts. Love the peaceful parts. Because by loving it all, your frequency will only resonate with loving things that will flow right in. Next time you have a dream or a physical experience of an entity that you don't find pleasurable, ask yourself, how can I love this being? How is this being asking for love? Because everything is asking for love. Everyone is asking for love because we are all love and we're asking to be who we are. Sometimes love can be saying, welcome. Sometimes love can be saying, you're not welcome here. It is love that discerns what's best for you, and what's best for you is also best for any quote unquote other entity. Does these chaotic beings have a name?
Several. There's they more come in colors, and Octurian blue, and there's one that's dark but fatherly, and good, and there's others who just seek to be heard, seen, like they want their lives to be acknowledged, and they're reaching into my channels to say, look at me, acknowledge me, I exist. And I'm like, I need to sleep. I need peace. I can't always be the vessel for things that the communications need to sometimes let me rest. I'm new at this, so it's not always easy.
It's okay. Are you curious about these beings?
Oh yes, there's some of them that smile on me with light that fills my heart with love and peace and strength and give me hope and faith that maybe I didn't have. And there's some that that need that peace, but I can't give it to them right now.
Meditation. You may be able to have conversations with them in meditation. when there are beings trying to get your attention in response to your will, they may come at seemingly intrusive times, but the timing, the grand timing that they're coming is in response to the time that you set. Kind of like when you set your alarm clock for 7:10 a.m. and it rings at 7:10 a.m. and you're hitting the snooze button, you're saying, let me rest, and it's going to ring again. You set the alarm. Your alarm clock is now ringing in response to when you set it. You're the leader here. It's important for you to know that. They're following you. So own it.
Thank you.
You are welcome. All of you are leaders. You're just deciding what to do with your leadership. Are you giving your leadership away to some being, to some job? Or are you claiming your leadership and living your life? It's your leadership. You can do whatever you want to do with it. But it's our assignment to remind you that you're the leader. Stand in that. We would like to tell you a story of Alan. For a long time in Alan's life, he felt at the mercy or at the will of his romantic relationships. He felt that his role was to keep the wife happy. Happy wife, happy life, per se. Even if this would be of a detriment to what he wanted. He felt that by keeping his girlfriend or partner happy, then everything will be just fine. Happy wife, happy life. To Alan's painstaking realization over time, his relationships weren't working. They kept falling apart. They kept having either the romance will flare out or the resonance would just be gone between them both, and either he would speak up or the other would speak up. He believed that it was his partner finding the right girl, per se. Once he found the right girl, then things will work out. Find the right partner. One day, Alan gets fed up. He gets down on one knee and he marries God. And by marrying God, simultaneously he agreed to not date a woman anymore, but he was going to be a monk, marry God, share his love with the world through inspiration and writing and channeling or whatever he felt inspired. But the whole area of romance wasn't an ordeal for him because he was sick of giving his power away. Soon after he marries God, a week later, he connects with his current love, Sky. And the first thing he says to Sky are his wishes and his desires in a relationship. And he says, if these desires aren't met and what I stand for, then I prefer not to be in a relationship at all because I've already found peace and happiness alone. And at least when I'm happy and alone, I don't have to give away my power. The very things that Alan was standing for, that is aligned with his joy, his love, himself, to the T are the exact things that mesmerized his lover. She loved everything about him leading his life and the way he was. And here we are today, 3 years and counting in the honeymoon phase. This is the longest relationship he's ever had continuously. And the secret is he's being true to himself, communicating it with others, knowing himself as the leader that he is. What we're saying, what we're sharing is this story because a lot of what you all want is only in harmony when you're being 100% true to yourself and communicating that to others. Do not jeopardize one thing in your life for the sake of making someone else happy or believing that you're not in control or you're out of power, because that is costing you the very things you're asking for. Everything you ask higher mind, or some of you call God, for, immediately an opportunity to become a leader in that will come up, because you have to be the leader to experience what you want. Now, this leader can be joyfully following, but just know that you're leading by following another. The key is knowing that you're always empowered. The power lies within you. The leadership lies within you. And you choose what to do with that power, with that leadership. If there's anything that doesn't resonate with the highest imagining of your soul, don't do it. Because you're costing the world an infinite gift. The gift of you. Please continue with your questions.
How do you know that you're on the right path to sharing your gifts?
Define the right path.
Well, path at all.
Path to the highest good.
highest good.
What's the highest good?
Your highest good. My highest good. Like
What is that?
full expression of self.
Okay. How do you know if you're expressing yourself or not? Is that what you're asking?
Fully.
Fully. If you were locked in a closet and you were told you're in there for an hour, what do you feel in that closet?
Fear.
Fear. Keep going. What else do you feel?
Anger.
Anger.
Worry.
Worry.
Anxiety.
Anxiety. Someone else who has some other answers for that.
Restriction.
Restriction.
Solitude.
Solitude. Now, in breaking free of that closet, and you look around you and you see all of MILO Farm to play, what does that feel like?
Freedom.
Freedom.
Joyous.
What was that?
Joyous.
Joyous.
Peaceful.
Peaceful. Give me some emotion with it.
Exuberant.
Exuberant.
Alive.
Happiness.
Alive. Happiness.
Expansive.
Expansive.
Playtime.
Playtime. So to answer your question, if you want the path to take you to the closet, you know you're headed there with the feelings of fear, solitude, boring, anger, all of the emotions that support that closet feeling. When you're breaking free out into all of MILO Farm, those feelings of playfulness, that's also a path. The right path for you is the path you prefer. Do you prefer the closet? Do you prefer the whole farm? You know how you feel when you're headed towards either. You choose. We'll share with you a humorous story. the channel Alan was assigned by a friend, or more asked by a friend. The friend was a MMA fighter, so he felt obligated to help her. Otherwise, he didn't want to get into a headlock with her. She asked him to watch her cats. And Alan said yes, he will gladly watch the cats. The cats have had a hard life. They were in battered homes before. One of them was severely abused. And so when she drops off the cats, they're in their cage, they're meowing. She leaves, Alan lets the cat out, and the cat runs back in the cage. And Alan's like, hey, what do you want back in the cage? There's food out here. So Alan gives some food to the cat. The cat looks at the food, sniffs it, goes back in the cage. Alan walks away. Then eventually the cat comes out after hours. Alan goes to pick up the cat. The cat runs for its life. Alan finds himself trying to pet the cat, but the cat's running in circles. And eventually, the cat decides that it wants to hide. Alan gives up. He understands he's not going to be able to pet the cat or play with the cat. So Alan just goes and plays his video game and hang out with Sky. One of the cats comes out and rubs its body at Alan's feet. The other cat, still out of fear, does not want to be seen. An entire day goes by. Alan still cannot find the other cat that was abused. Out of worry, because Alan has multiple doors, doesn't want the cat to get out, Alan walks around the house to look for the cat just to make sure it's okay. Next thing you know, Alan walks into the washer room, checks behind the washer machine. The cat has squished his body behind the washing machine. He's just looking up. And Alan's worry is that the cat squished. So Alan pulls the washer machine to give a cat space. The cat leaves from behind the washing machine. And then the cat goes behind the dryer and squishes itself behind the dryer. That cat stays squished behind that dryer for approximately 4 hours. Alan's reflection. Some people are like the cat, where they go and they play around the house. Some people like to squish themselves behind the dryer. For whatever reason, they're squished behind the dryer. And the moment you move the dryer, they'll go behind the washing machine and squish themselves there. This is why we ask, what's the right path for you? Because some of you like being behind the dryer and the closet. Some of you like being express and running around the farm. There is nothing wrong with either or. It is your choice. And what works best for you. Are we making sense?
Yes.
Does this help?
Yes.
How can we overcome judging the cat behind the dryer? Or
That's a good one.
judging people, cats?
Because you are afraid of the dryer. What we judge, we're afraid of. Maybe you feel like you were forced to be behind the dryer for a period in your life. And the idea of going back there, you don't want to feel stuck again. The illusion of being behind a dryer is believing that you're powerless while you're behind the dryer. And that's what a lot of people are afraid of. They're afraid of being in a circumstance that they were in before that they felt powerless. Sometimes it could help to go behind the dryer just to walk out and know that you have the power to not be stuck there anymore. This is what Alan is doing financially. Alan has experienced a recent stuckness or limitation financially to the degree of $9 total. In the stuckness, of having $9 total, Alan understood his power and money not having to be the only way that he can live and eat. For in this stuckness, Alan had a friend that offered a place for him to stay, a luxurious basement, we might say, for a period of time. In this stuckness, Alan was going to get food with barely enough to even get a Chipotle bowl. And on his way to get this Chipotle bowl, there was a man who was sitting in the mall counting hundreds of dollars just for fun, just counting his money. We give Alan the insight to ask him for help. Alan first says no, doesn't want to seem desperate. And then Alan gives in. He goes to the man. He asks him for help in getting a Chipotle bowl. The man speaks Spanish. And in Spanish, the man says, "Cuánto?" Alan translates that as how much. Alan asked, "20." $20. The man says, "Nada." Says. He gives Alan $6. That combined with Alan's $9 is more than enough to get a Chipotle bowl. We share with you this exercise because the experience of being stuck behind the dryer or washing machine, one way that you may be invited to get out of it is by asking others for help. Telling them your full circumstance and then asking for help in any way, shape, or form. Sometimes there will be people that are brought into your life, literally counting the solutions that could help you. This solutions doesn't have to be money. It can be simply relationship, companionship, a listening ear. There are people that are abundant in the very thing that you're asking for. And one way to experience that abundance is by putting yourself behind the dryer just to let out a meow and see how many people are begging to help you, who love to help you. So you can walk from behind the dryer by yourself, or you can enjoy someone else helping you out from behind the dryer. This is a joyful exercise. And this exercise can also be seen as the flaps to your wings as you're flying. Behind the dryer, release from the dryer. Behind the dryer, release from the dryer. Picture time. Freeze phrase that moment. Who hasn't asked one yet?
Yeah, I felt that too, but I don't know what to ask.
About your water.
What about it?
Hold up. you don't know what to ask, that is okay. We're not here to pry questions out of you. We're here to be a loving response to the questions that you have within yourself. If you have no question within yourself, then we have no answer for no question. However, if a question arises, we have an answer for it. This is important to understand. Sometimes the best place to be is a place where you're satiated. You're okay right where you are. It's a good place to be. Lonnie, were you speaking of CE5?
Yes, I was going to ask you about that.
Yes, we would like to expound upon that. From our perspective, we see it as a family reunion. And at this family reunion, you are inviting relatives, cousins, and cousins of cousins that you may have not met yet. We invite you to approach this without fear, without worry, without concern. For the frequency of this land can be seen as a beacon or a hub for family reunions. Just make sure you cook.
What shall I cook?
We ask barbecue, for we are in Kansas City.
Fair.
No meat. Being bright, quality beings. Barbecue, BBQ, being bright, quality beings.
So I want to make sure that all entities of all places are welcome to come join us here.
One moment. All entities are welcome?
No, I said high. Didn't I say higher places?
You said you wanted to make sure that all entities of all places were here.
All light, malevolent entities.
Define that.
Peaceful. Positive, for good, for our. I know that there's several species that are here to help us move along this evolution path quicker and more with ease. And I would love to welcome those.
Allies. Yeah.
Are there any energies that you are avoiding?
No, I don't fear much, but why do you ask?
Sometimes when there's an insistence on light beings, there's an insistence on not having dark beings.
Right, the paradox.
And by insisting energetically on not having darker beings, it could be like sending them a text message. It's not a phone call, but it could be a text message. Hey, thinking of you.
I don't though. I don't think of them. I'm not. It's. But I see what you're saying.
We're speaking on behalf of the dark beings that wants to be here to be healed. What about them? What if they come and they're like, we want to approach love and light, but we're being labeled as chaotic. Who's going to love us? How come this is a family reunion where only the people that are in college, graduated, get to eat? What about us that's finding our way? Who's going to love and hold us? For we may not be peaceful and light yet, but we promise if you are willing to love us, we'll strive to do our best.
That's beautiful. I think there's light in everybody, everything.
Yes. Focus on the light, and all you will experience is light.
I feel like that's kind of the key of what the big evolution key of us humans is to realize that there wouldn't be war if we knew that and believed it.
War is decisions. Deciding on what to be in a violent way at times. It doesn't have to be violent. We actually prefer that it's not violent. But sometimes it is the violence that happens for humans to see just how ugly violence is, and to choose to not have it anymore. There are not many beings in all of the universe that choose violence. It's less than 2%. Your race is very, very rare. You guys exercise violence over property and possessions. It's a very rare thing to see. And it's a very beautiful thing to grow through. This is part of the reason why there's so much attention on Earth. You guys are going from a dark space all the way into the light. We quite haven't seen a transformation like yours in all of eternity. You're very, 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 very unique.
It's pretty exciting. I don't think we could have done it without help without entities like you helping us. I don't know how.
We love the gesture, but yes, you can. There are many of you who insist on never meeting us or never meeting any entities outside of your planet. And they're still going to go to the light. We are here as one of the outfits that you can wear and adopt. As one of the members of the party that you can invite if you want. But it doesn't mean there's not going to be a party without us. Whether we're here or not, the Earth party is still going to happen. We just enjoy bringing our dance to the mix. We are doing the cha-cha slide. Does anyone want to demonstrate? Is everyone here? Is your cup full? Or is there more water to pour into you at this time?
I have a question, but I have so much chaos that I don't know how to phrase it.
Great start so far.
Embrace the chaos.
What you said about family reunion, inviting cousins and cousins of cousins, becoming a hub and a beacon, and my family farm is being sold on Tuesday. And two of my cousins and I are trying to go together to purchase that property, but there's no guarantee that we will get it. And I'm trying to be peaceful. But what you said about being a hub and being a beacon, that feels like what that land is supposed to do. But I'm really struggling with being okay with whatever the outcome is. So guidance on that would be lovely.
We are holding you, and our heart is touching your heart as we hold you through this experience. Our love touches you and ripples out to your land and back to you and back to our civilization. For the relationship that you have with this land, your family has with this land, is very sacred. And the idea of losing it the word that comes up was misery, agony, pain. Does these words resonate?
Absolutely.
You're in love. You are in love with this land.
Absolutely.
Have you ever experienced a love that asked you to let go?
Yes.
Has this brought pain?
Yep.
Be with the harmony in this is that sometimes land can love us so much that it could want to demonstrate to us the experience of an unconditional love that may look like letting go. Because it is the letting go that frees our soul. Because if there is an outcome that can detriment your heart and hurt you, then you are forever at the will of that outcome. Sometimes letting go can be the very thing that attracts to you what's meant for you. This process, our heart feels you. It can be very painful. It can hurt. However, this process can create a degree of freedom because with the land, without the land, you are a beacon. You are the beacon. So we're not saying this to advise you to just give up, per se. We're sharing this because it is our desire and our wish for you to experience the peace that you are. So what we're doing for you right now is we are holding you close and we are assuring you that everything is going to be okay. That God has a plan for your life, for your family, and for your land. And that plan is never in vain. Do you feel our words? If you cry yourself to sleep tonight, we will wipe your tears. If you bring the blankets and covers over you, we will tuck you in. For our love knows no limits, knows no bounds, and we will envelop you as the beautiful soul that you are. And we promise you, this love is always available for you and will always be there. You're never alone. None of you. Look to the stars tonight. That's all we can share for now. We can sit here all day. We would like to share something This is a little bit beyond Alan's realm of understanding. And how we channel is through Alan's thought processes. And he conglomerates our thoughts together with his understanding. So we're going to stretch the limits of that a little bit here. One moment. Your weather. You not yet have control of your weather. The same way that you can monitor your thermostat in your bedroom, in your living room, you can monitor the thermostat of your weather on your planet. An element that is required for this is what you call gold. Gold has multiple properties that can be utilized in different ways. You're currently using your gold as jewelry. From our perspective, this is one of the many, we can even say millions of ways to use gold. Gold has properties that are multifaceted that can be used in different chemical ways. Alan's vocabulary with this subject is not very broad, so give us a moment. If your scientists learn how to balance gold and harmonize it with your atmosphere.
I found this on the web.
Siri's looking, one moment. If your scientists learn how to balance this with your atmosphere and get it to vaporize with your atmosphere into a dust that floats in between outer space and your planet, that middle zone, you will be headed in the right direction. For changing and creating your weather is a balance that is done between your sun and your planet. You do nothing with the sun. What you do is how the sun is received on your planet. And by altering how the sun is received and what degree it is received, you have a great influence on your weather. You have satellites that are in orbit right now, supported by what you call Starlink. These may one day be seen as trash in the future. We don't say this from a space of judgment or even humor. We say this because there are many elements that you can place out into orbit of your planet that can assist you in more ways than being able to scroll on Instagram via your Wi-Fi. We ask your planet to work in harmony with nature and not prioritize technology over nature, because in misprioritization, you can throw off the balance.
I'm not sure I understand.
Allow us to simplify it. We're going to use the woman's cycle. When a woman is on her cycle, there is a harmonizing balance, or pH per se, happening within her body. That balance gets thrown off at times. You may meet a feisty woman. Mother Earth also has a cycle. And just like how if a woman is taking, let's just call it birth control pills, it can affect her cycle. By placing things like your planet is placing in orbit, you can throw off your planet's cycle. Thankfully, we are here. There are many other beings that are here. Cryon's one of them, that can help your planet rebalance itself more, to be more in harmony.
I have a question about that. There's the speak of the Anunnaki. You spoke of the Anunnaki earlier, and that there's some that say that Anunnaki came and enslaved humans to mine gold because it's very valuable in the universe. Is that true? And secondary, I strangely enough feel drawn to the Anunnaki. Like I am part of them, amongst other beings, but anyways, that fable true.
There is no such thing as slavery. Slavery is an idea of beings exercising their power over another. This is impossible because no being is more powerful than another. The beings that you are seeing as being enslaved are just giving their power to these other entities or beings. And as far as Anunnaki per se, enslaving for gold, one moment. No. The word collaboration is more harmonious. Also, this truth is multifaceted. Because depending on the frequency you're experiencing, you have a different reality. Many of you go to work every day. One person's perspective is that person's a slave at his job. Another perspective is he's going to work and he can provide for his family, or he enjoys his work. All of it is a job or a task. It's just how we label it or how we address it. But all beings that were helping when the Anunnaki were primarily roaming your planet, it was collaborative more than the idea of what you have of slavery.
They were mining for gold?
There were some other resources there too. Gold wasn't the only one. Sapphire comes up. They were also helping you understand the gifts that you had on your own planet. Think of it as a young shepherd boy learning how to shear his sheep. And that shepherd boy has grandfathers that are helping teach him how to do it. And then also telling him the value of wool. One moment. Reptilians are doing this with what you call your politics.
In a good way or a bad way?
Depends on how you view it. Sometimes you may need a politic to do something what you call absurd for you to understand that your power is not there. Your power is within you, not just in your governing body. We're not saying this to counter your government by any means at all. They have their role. However, when there's a dependency on them, on your governments, that's when you can get some alarms to remind you that they're not your source of power.
This is pretty deep information that's coming through. When will the masses be ready for it?
You want the long answer or short answer?
Whatever feels right to you.
You want the long answer or short answer?
Short answer.
When you decide for it to be. The masses are nothing but a reflection of the frequency that you're holding to right now. Right now, there are masses that are completely in the light. However, your frequency is not yet there, so you're not experiencing those masses yet. So the best way to experience the masses that you prefer is by shifting your frequency and maintaining your frequency at where you prefer. And then soon, very soon afterwards, you'll experience the masses that's following, reflective of exactly where you are. Every element of masses that are not of what you prefer are elements of yourself that are not of you prefer being reflected back to you. If there's 1% of you that you're not integrating, you're not loving, you're labeling as chaotic, then you'll experience 1% of masses that are reflecting that back to you. This is why we say the best way to change your planet is to change yourself. Because as you change, you'll change your frequency and you will align with a planet that's more harmonious to your preferred frequency in very joyful, exciting, surprising ways.
And that begs the question, how can we raise our frequency most effectively?
What game is most fun for a child? Hide or seek, pretend, tag, freeze tag? What's the most fun game?
Depends on the child.
That's the answer.
That's your answer. You want to know Alan's great ways of raising his frequency? Walking the mall, people watching, playing pickleball, eating vegan food, and then sneaking out and eating fish and not telling anyone. Forgive us.
I do that too. Yeah.
What kind of fish?
Salmon.
Good choice.
He loves
The
salmon.
other day.
He loves salmon. So therefore, the most effective way to raise the frequency. Whose answer was that? Who said that?
Bethany.
And what was that answer?
It depends on the child.
Thank you. That's the answer.
In the event that we're not a scientist, what do you recommend us to do with this gold intellectualization?
We are aware that this is being recorded. This video may reach out and touch beings that are oriented in that fashion. But for those of you that are not scientists, you can remember it, hold it true. And if you ever catch a scientist talking about, man, I wish we can control the weather, I wonder where to start, you may be able to offer them of a starting point.
I was under the impression that we already were controlling the weather. Like I've heard some people say the government controls it. Do you have any insight on that?
One moment. In the way that it's being brought or presented to you, no. They're still learning how to predict it. Now, in terms of control, in the broadest sense, harmoniously with higher mind, you're in control of all things. We're just guiding you to a way to be more aware of that control. There is nothing that the government is doing, that your governments are doing, that a lot of people that are not in governments aren't already doing. Actually, your governments tend to be one of the last ones to jump ship on what you guys are up to. Right now, many of you do plant medicine. What is the distance between people smoking marijuana and the legalization of it?
Gets smaller every day.
oftentimes the people lead and the governments follow.
They were doing it before it was legal.
Exactly.
So what's the benefit of having influence over the weather? Especially if somebody likes it hot and somebody else would like it cold. How is there harmony with that?
There are people in Canada that loves the cold. There are people in Georgia that loves the heat. It is not more or less shameful to be in Canada or Georgia. It's just a matter of preference. The harmony is understanding that you can be wherever you choose to be. And every governing body, per se, or collective of people can elect on Delaware, we agree to be mostly 85 degrees. Mexico, we agree on 90. New York, we'll take 75.
I don't think New York will agree on anything.
We meant 75 different temperatures.
Depends on the borough.
Right.
Basically, what we're saying is that the process of harmonizing your weather can be a process of helping humans distinct themselves more to what they prefer. A lot of you already do it. Going to Arizona, call them, what is it, winter birds?
Snowbirds.
Snowbirds? One of those things. The idea of it's already being done. We're just inviting you to add more awareness to it. The idea of tsunamis can be controlled. Hurricanes too. However, when you add water into the mix, involving tsunamis, hurricanes, now this involves the balance of your moon with your water as well. And more can be done in between your moon and your planet that affects your oceans and your water.
I think we could use your help finding Mandeville's wallet. We have a gentleman that's a little beside himself, thinking he lost his wallet. Is that something you can help with?
One moment, I'll bring my ship here and start looking with you. One way that he may be able to find his wallet is by doing his best by looking for it first. And then the word that comes up is distract himself with something else and just release it and see if it pops up. And if it doesn't pop up, Target has a sale on wallets right now. You can buy 2 for $40. That's a joke. One moment. The channel is getting hungry. We would invite any closing questions, closing things. One moment. Okay. If there are any closing questions or remarks, please speak up now, or we will close this dialogue till later.
I just want to express my gratitude. Thank you.
You are very welcome. It is our love and our joy and our pleasure to be here with you all in this way on this beautiful, beautiful day in what you call Buckner, Missouri. We share with you all a melody that goes a little bit like this. The melody of this land, the melody of the wind, of nature. There is a music that consistently plays on your planet. Many of it is in frequencies you can hear. Most of it are in frequencies that you cannot hear with your current ears. Your trees give off a sound. Mushrooms gives off a sound. If you were to walk into a forest and you were attuned your ears to this frequency, you would hear an orchestra. We invite you to enjoy music, the music of nature. And don't worry, your technologies will soon catch up to the point where you can hear this music of nature. We're dancing with you in this music of nature. We're loving you. We're holding you. And we present to you the cha-cha slide. And that is all from us, Onto and now. Wow. Oh man, 1 second. Whew, okay. Hello. Hello, everybody. Great to be here. Oh, it's really bright. I am starving. Oh man.
I'll find you some snacks inside.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that.
Anto tells us all your secrets.
Oh yeah? Oh man. Yeah, he does that. He kind of energetically gets my permission. It's like as I'm driving here, I'll get an insight like, okay, yeah, sure. Okay, I don't care. Okay. Oh, not that. Okay, I care. I don't care. So it's like it's an agreeance to it. Oh man, that was an extended one.
That was good.
It was good.
Yeah.
It's almost like you ever like gotten up really fast from like a nap or something. You're kind of like, whoa.
Yeah.
Kind of feels like that.
Wow.
All right. Thank you very much. That's it. Oh man.